how are you seeing this very sharp rise in Adani stocks? Anything that catches your fancy on the long side still after these 19, 13, 20% rallies that have happened on several of these counters, sir?
Yeah, I think Shale, my sense is, the markets is probably considering the fact that no negative surprise is going to come for these companies from the much awaited SEBI report on, the entire Hindenburg issue. So that is the reason you're seeing, Adani Wilmar going up, Adani Enterprises up, Adani Total Gas up. So my sense is, see, as an investor, I would personally not buy any stock which rises by 15% or 20% in just one single trading session. These are largely trading favorites and momentum kind of favorites of traders. So my sense is, let the water settle down, let the report come in. Clearly, companies like Adani Wilmar, Adani Power, for that reason, Adani Ports, Ambuja Cements, all these are great companies which generate a good amount of cash flow. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But looking at the fact that we are now going to await the state election results by typically by the 3rd of December, and then we have the general election sometime next year. I would be a little cautious in saying that there's no point in buying these stocks at any price. If there is a correction, I mean, hopefully sentiment is obviously now taking over fundamentals initially, but hopefully once the market corrects and the stocks stabilize, then I think these 2 3 companies could be ideal candidates to buy and keep them in your portfolio for the next 2 to 3 years. There's no doubt there's good value to be made here, but I think there's no need to hurry at all, to just buy them today. So would prefer to adopt a wait and hold strategy, and I think look at any weakness or correction to buy into these companies. So I think that would be my strategy. I think rather than getting excited in the short term, I think it's always good to remain mature in the longer term, because that's how markets behave, very irrationally in the short term.
Okay, Avinash, if I were physically around you, I would have loved to pat your back. This is such a fantastic piece of advice when almost everybody is losing their head. Yours needs to be firmly screwed on your shoulders. You mentioned 2 3 stocks from the group that you would keep on your radar. Could you please take those names again, the ones that you find have very strong cash flows, have good business opportunities, and over the past so many years have given fantastic fundamental performance? If you could just name those 2 or 3.
I think within the infrastructure space, I like Adani Ports largely because, see, it is a business where shale, whether we like it or not, these are essential assets which will continue to do well despite any political change or any change in the political party going forward. So I think I'm very clear about it that this business will sustain for the next 5 to 10 years comfortably. They are generating a lot of cash flow, and they have a large, bouquet of almost 35 ports. So, without ports, obviously export imports are not possible. And now this is a business which is like a ever growing business. So Adani Ports is something which we are very positive. Second company which we like is Ambuja Cements. Now this was earlier part of the Lafarge groups. Adani Group has taken it over. Very strong presence in very premium markets and very good cash flows. Cement is one sector where we feel, along with infrastructure, cement is the most important building block. So here I think one could definitely give it even a short term as well as a medium term kind of view, because in the near term we expect that infrastructure projects in India are going to pick up just ahead of the election. And going forward also, if GDP grows by more than 6.5%, then cement is going to be a very important building block in terms of construction, in terms of roads, in terms of new construction projects both by the government and the private sector. So I think Ambuja Cements also qualifies as a good long term bet. And obviously, if you talk about Adani Wilmar, it's one of the B2C companies from the Adani stable. Now, let me tell you one thing. Previous quarter was a disastrous quarter for them. They made a net loss, but now some reports in the markets have come stating that the Adani Group may actually sell, Adani Wilmar to some strategic investor. Now, how far it is true, how far it is not true, I am not aware. But I can tell you one thing, that the business is growing rapidly. They have been building very good brands in the market, and despite being a low margin business, the opportunity in this market is tremendous. And in fact, they are a large player in the B2C segment. My sense is that probably the third quarter is going to be much better than the second quarter, because their main raw material palm oil prices have corrected, and hopefully the company should
Right.
bounce back at these levels. There is definitely a very good risk reward available for medium to long term investors, because it's a B2C business, a branded business, which I think has got great opportunity to get scaled up in the next say 2 years. So these 2 3 companies, Shell, I'm pretty confident and very positive, because I don't think any political move or any negative surprise on the political side could actually upset these companies' fortunes. Uh, Obviously, you have got to take a longer term call here. These are not short term kind of kind of investment calls. You have to take at least 18 to 24 months in mind before you make this call.
Right. Absolutely brilliant advice coming in from Avinaash Gorakshakar on the three stocks that he likes within the Adani portfolio. It's the ports business, simply because anything that comes into or exits India on the manufacturing side will have a port entry and a port exit. Whether that's Adani or any other port, that's a different matter altogether. But if they control the vast majority of India's port network, then probability is higher on the ports of Adani being used for this kind of a exit and entry. Of course, Adani Wilmar and Ambuja Cement. Wonderful and fabulous advice coming in from Avinaash. Don't buy into what is at the moment a mad frenzy. Wait for the market to correct and then probably look at these stocks, look at these earnings, and then decide. Getting Nagaraj into this conversation, your views on Nagaraj, Adani Wilmar and Ambuja Cement.
Adani Wilmar has witnessed a significant upside breakout today. If you look at the stocks in the last few months, it has been a clear downtrend. The stock was down continuously, forming lower tops and lower highs. Recently, made a consolidation, made an important bottom reversal around 310, and then moved up. Today's up move was associated with rise in volume post, and after the consolidation of 3 4 sessions, we have seen such a tremendous upside moment. From here, there is a possibility of small consolidation. I think the bottom seems to have formed for the stocks at 285 levels in this month, and I'm expecting this upside momentum to continue. For a short term, there is a possibility of some consolidation, minor dip, or a range bound movement, you can say, but eventually these consolidations could take over on the upper side. So next overhead resistance to be watched for me around 375 to 380.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.